we're back from BlizzCon. How are you feeling, pal? You've got con flu.
I'm a little rough. I have got con flu, yeah, but I'm feeling hyped.
I'm standing strong. I'm standing strong, man. I ain't fucking no con bringing me down. But we had a ridiculously good BlizzCon.
Insane. Really good.
The last time we went, we actually walked away saying we're probably not going to come back unless we're doing something specific for work.
Yeah.
But this time I walked away thinking I have to go back. So we'll have all that bants at the web show, all the stories and stuff that we actually did there. But we were there for, frankly, one of the best Warcraft panels ever, which was just ridiculous. It was even almost as good as when an expansion's launched.
I think you could tell before anything was said when he walked out on stage. He walked with a purpose that he knew, I'm going to blow your fucking minds now.
Yeah, there was, let's just say first thing, after the opening ceremony, where you got to meet Reinhardt's voice actor.
I did.
That video's on Twitter if you want to see that.
Tick.
Hammer down!
It's on Twitter if you want to see that. But because the opening ceremony, we met a lot of people, obviously. We met thousands of people while we were there. The opening ceremony was very, very lackluster overall, I would say. It was, it's the anniversary, but not much was mentioned about the games at all. But and people were coming up to me saying, the opening ceremony was garbage, man. They didn't say much of anything. I was expecting an announcement. No Diablo 4. People were expecting Diablo 4. And then I was thinking, I was telling people, I was like, I'm pretty sure, call me a pessimist, that anything major is now almost never going to be on the opening ceremony unless it's a game expansion.
I was just going to say, you think it's gated by the individual panels?
I think it's gated for the reason that they want people to buy the virtual ticket. Because obviously the opening ceremony is free. I think they're moving towards really big, important information being at the panels for each game rather than the opening ceremony.
To be honest, I get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it. Because these are, it's the experience of not just finding out this information, because if you're after the information, you can go onto any of the big websites and straight away it's there because they want to be like the finger on the pulse. But for the whole being there for the reveal and stuff, it's still a fucking experience, even if you're sat at your computer. Like, when was it? Was it last year?
As well.
Yeah, last year we had the virtual ticket. And we was watching these reveals at the same... we was watching it here.
Yep.
I remember it, and when they was showing all the reveals from all the different games, it was still fucking hype.
Yeah, it was super hype, but they can't do as much detail in the opening ceremony as they...
Exactly,
certainly as what we got in the Warcraft one. I mean, they basically mentioned Warcraft exists, that's cool, and moved on to something else. So going into the panel, the specific Legion panel with Mr. Watcher... walking into the room, we actually took a seat to the side. I was expecting not a lot. I mean, very, very sort of disheartened by the whole thing. And then he walks out, like you said, and he's very sort of stone-faced most of the time. And he just had this sort of grin.
It was a Vince McMahon walk.
It was a Vince McMahon walk. It was like, this is going to be the shit.
Yeah.
I did tell him that later on when we met him in the bar. I was like, I just knew the second you came on stage, you had something to fucking say.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like... I think, fair play to him, I know he's recently become like the big head of WoW. But over the last couple of BlizzCons... they haven't had much to say that's been really exciting for WoW at all.
Yeah, for him especially, you don't want to be that new guy and not have no ammo in your gun, so to speak. When you walk out and if you leave people disappointed, they're going to associate that with you.
Yeah. Oh, he takes so much shit. I mean, that's more of a BlizzCon story, but I can tell you for a fact that I watched it happen because he did come out into the bars and stuff later on, and he was just like... everybody's telling me how to fix WoW constantly. That's all the fans are telling him constantly. But anyway, he walks out with this grin, and then you guys obviously saw that. And the atmosphere in the room, I don't think many people picked up that he obviously had something to say.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere in the room was like, there was a little buzz, but people were expecting to be disappointed, I think, because they were like, well, they're not going to look at the Nighthold, really. They're not going to announce a new WoW expansion. What are they going to say? And fuck me, did he go, oh, what have I got to say? Well, here we go.
But it was like every point was like you'd been happy there, but it was a case of, well, I'm not done.
I'm not done. And he kept, and this is a mini patch.
Exactly.
He was being sarcastic. Yeah. And this is what we call a mini patch, fuckers. How do you like that? So a few things that we kicked off with. Where do we even start with all this stuff? I think let's talk about what we were most excited about. So I think the big one that people walked out with was, of course, the refocus, but the expansion into class-specific stuff. So we started off with because everyone's been saying, can we get another Green Fire quest? And then he comes out and says, yeah, there's one for all of you. There's one for... It's not just the Warlocks who got green fire, and they were comparing it to the Rock Dalar missions that we had in Vanilla, the Benediction questline, and my imagination started running wild at this point. I had to start like saying, stop thinking.
Legendary ring, mate.
Legendary ring, because he started mentioning class-specific like scenarios and stuff. So I started to imagine some sort of scenario in terms of an instance environment, and we know no scenarios are returning, and they're going to use them again, which is great. Where all the priests arrive and do something, and they maybe meet up with the group of warriors of mixed factions, and they're doing things that are warrior-specific things.
I was definitely
My mind started going crazy with this, but they didn't say that. They never said they're going to do that. But that was what I heard. It was not what he said.
Yeah, he said something on the lines of, "Imagine if all the classes like bound together and not by faction."
Exactly, and I was just, my mind went, okay, I've gone off the cliff. Because what I'm picturing is never going to be in the game.
That is a void. A huge void, like an emptiness of what you can fill with your mind.
But we did get confirmed that we're going to get these class-specific quest lines, which are supposed to be in depth, as much as the Green Fire quest line was. How that will work out for classes like that can have tanks and DPS specs, or healers and DPS specs, we'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
Course, yeah.
But then he brought out the mounts. And they were like, these are what you're going to get. And we didn't get to see them all fly, but they do all fly.
Yeah.
But I know you guys are aware of the mounts by now. Surely you're aware of the mounts. But what I can tell you is the buzz in the room at the time is because they saved one obvious one till right near the very end. And they were moving through. And in fact, the mage little disc turned up. And I said to you immediately, I'm okay with that. I'm alright with that. I think that's quite cool. It'll probably have some fancy animation with it, so I was fine with that. And we saw some great ones. The priest one looked fantastic with its feathers that shed light.
Dude!
Yeah.
The priest owl was one of my favourites.
It looked so... The raven for the rogue looked awesome.
With like the old school,
like a blindfold over
medieval
the eyes.
sort of cap on.
And then, of course, everyone just got absolutely shit on from the greatest height of all time when that fucking shaman mic
Tornado, bro.
You must have heard it. If you watched it live, the reaction in the crowd was 10 times louder than what they probably played over the audio. But we were all like, motherfucker, you fucking
But everyone,
dick.
obviously, there was a running cheer from mount to mount, even if it was just a mediocre mount.
Except for the druids, I think the druids were all
do you know
sad.
what? As the offshoot, like, I mean, we're going to obviously expand a little on the mounts, but for me, I know we spoke about it briefly. I mentioned all the time. I want to fly as a demon hunter.
Well, the weird thing was, I know. Just let me interrupt you for one sec.
Go for it.
Is that we did a video to come out on the day of BlizzCon of what we hoped to hear.
Yeah.
And we got like 9 out of 10 things, which is insane.
Crisp.
And one of the things we didn't get was, of course, you wanted demon hunters to fly, and you were sat next to me going, "Say it."
But the thing is, that's it. He showed the mounts, and as soon as he showed the mounts, I was immediately at the bottom, thinking we're not going to get this because we're just going to get a mount. But then it showed the druid gets a new flight form, and then immediately I sat up in my chair and I went, "It's happening! It's finally happening!" And then he showed us the mount. It's not a bad-looking mount, but it could have been any mount, and it's just the fact that we can't fly.
It's not one you're probably going to use.
No, absolutely not.
It's not. But you were sat there, you kept whispering, "Say it. Say it, say it," and he didn't. And then, of course, we moved on to we finally found out where a lot of the artifact skins that we'd seen well before Legion released, in fact, are actually going to come from, and they're going to come into the game. And then we saw Monkey Man Druid, which was easy to stand out. And
Werebear, bro.
Werebear, bro. And I was so happy. I was like, motherfucker, that's so good. That looks
so good.
Except for the one person we did bump into. There's a lovely girl that we met later on in the night who's a Guardian Druid, and she wasn't impressed. So I don't know if it's a guy thing. I mean, my sample size is 1. All I can say is every other Guardian Druid we spoke to who was a guy was absolutely fucking hype about
Imagine what the
around
skins for that's going to be as well.
I thought it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, well,
I'd give anything to be werebearing all over the place.
Imagine if you had the werebear in that rock form.
Yeah. That would be cool. I was so hyped, but I spoke to her. She was like, "Nah, I don't want to be a werebear." I was like, "Well, fuck you then. Fuck you. You don't want to do that."
In fairness, though, going through them all again, like I've been through them all again, every class, maybe not every spec, but every class is something that's just like, god damn, stand out.
It was pretty fucking awesome. And then it didn't stop there, obviously.
No.
It did not stop there. So it went on and on to describe the idea. Overall, the theme that he kept bringing up, and this is so weird, because it's obviously an issue they recognise as much as I recognised it, is when I did the Karazhan video, I was talking about I remembered going through Karazhan for the first time in the new version of Karazhan and thinking, this is what I miss about Blizzard, is wacky, stupid fun. And lo and fucking behold, Watch is on stage going, you know what? We're putting a load of wacky, stupid fun back into WoW. Because the Broken House is a miserable fucking place.
Yes.
And they recognised it as well. I said the same thing. And then they were like, we're going to... and this fucking tickled my dick no more is the amount of times he said, we're going to experiment. Look at the legacy of the TBC.
Yeah.
The last comment I had in that, my closing conclusion to TBC is, Blizzard at that time just threw shit at the fucking
Do you like
fan.
this or not?
Yeah, throw it at the wall,
But
see
it's
what
there.
sticks. If it doesn't, we'll take it out.
Exactly.
And then he was like, is this going to be balanced? No. Fuck no, it's not going to be balanced. So they
That
had
was
things
so
like the new
funny.
PvP
Yeah,
brawls.
yeah.
And because we saw the video, and then suddenly people in Eye of the Storm just went flying into the air. And we were like, what the
Or they
fuck
removed
is
the gravity.
going on there? Yeah,
and that the beauty of it wasn't a sort of a mince around the bush of balance. He just said, is it going to be balanced? And he just flat out said, no.
No, it's not for that.
No,
this is just to
absolutely.
have fun. And
Yeah.
I am game for that. I am game for that. And on top of that, we had things that... It was sort of a 50-50 reaction in the audience, I'd say, because some people didn't get it, but I was super hype about Storm and Guard Day. I am Cartman like a motherfucker.
Mate.
Pull over! Pull over!
Boat day, mate.
Boat Day. Actually, it's going to be like spring break. I'm like, I don't know what that means, really, but I'm into it. Can we barbecue?
If that, I
Can we-
tell you
what
what, that's still my legendary ring. Is even though you don't have to do it. Boat day's still my legendary ring. Imagine you get a group of people on that boat, and there's activities that you can interact with on the boat and stuff like
Exactly what
that.
I'm saying. What is Boat Day going to entail? Surely it's not just you on a boat in a lake,
Yeah.
nothing happening. Something's got to be going on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's got to be super fucking cool, hopefully, and just stupid. And absolute fun. And look, you got to remember, this is why people get bogged down in mechanics and stuff. If it's all very sort of cut and dry and linear throughout the gameplay, instead of like, what did you do today? Fucking about on boats all day, and wow, it was really cool. Loads of people were down there.
We did literally nothing.
Did nothing.
And
I
had the
stripped all my
best
armor
time
off.
ever.
I was just in my duds on my boat.
Yeah.
And I was just fucking chilling out. Yeah, I was all for that. But wacky, silly fun, the brawls, fucking
Bring it.
amazing. Absolute everything I want to see. I just want to see them having fun. And he's like, if this doesn't work, we'll take it out. We'll try something else. We'll just throw stuff in there. See what you guys think. If you don't like it, we're going to do away with it. I suppose we should bring up that we did go to the WoW Q&A, but we left. Because they weren't going to answer anything. A big topic we had, obviously, we wanted to hear about was legendaries. I think what they were, if they were being honest, the impression I got every time legendaries were brought up was never going to be said. But the impression I got was, we know it's fucked up.
Yeah.
We know we fucked up. We're not going to say that. We're going to skim over it as
You
much
could
as
see him
possible.
skirting around the edges and then sort of keep it on legendaries, but change the subject.
They changed. So if you obviously, I
bringing in
think the
more.
WoW Q&A was actually on the virtual ticket, so not many of you probably got that. But what I can tell you is legendaries were brought up, and if you read something like MMO Champion, it'll have like a tab of what they were thinking. This is how that actually went down. Is a girl asked a question about the legendaries. I still haven't got one, and they had Panzer on stage, who coincidentally was on our flight going home and tried to get off because they needed to kick someone off for a $500 ticket, but because she was so skinny, they had a weight problem on the plane. They sat her back down.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't realise till much later, but it was
No
actually
way.
Panzer. I'll need to tweet her later because she was like being a bro about it. They're like, you need to kick someone off, and they looked at her and went, not you.
Bless her.
But she was on stage. I thought she did an okay job. Apparently she got a lot of shit for it. But she said also, I haven't got a legendary yet. I'm salty about this. What's happening with it? They did not answer the question.
No,
They just went.
they
In fact, they fucked up because one of the guys replied, I can't remember his name, and said something like, we're going to add more legendaries. We're going to try and balance them out so one's not clearly better than the other. And we'll buff the weaker ones and maybe nerf the strong ones. And instantly people were thinking, and Watcher actually recognised it, people were thinking, you're putting more legendaries in, so there's less chance of me getting the good one. And instantly came in and say, we will figure something out where you can target it, but they obviously have not put any effort into that.
No, they haven't, but I think they anticipated that question, and that's why he said, look, we're going to do something about it.
He picked up on the fact that the first guy didn't say anything about that, and he jumped in and said, and now I know what you're thinking is that it's going to be even harder for you to get a good one if we keep diluting the pool that you can choose from or get from. We will do something about it, but he was pretty clear that we don't know what. We haven't come up with an idea. I mean, there was indications it was going to be via followers or some sort of targeting system, something like that, but they haven't done anything yet, so I wouldn't expect anything in the near future.
No.
I'd be surprised unless they do something quick on the back end of it. But the legendary system, I think they just regret. But it's in the game now. What can they do about it, realistically?
Exactly.
Yeah, what can they do about it?
Yeah.
If they just give them all if they up the drop chance, then you're just going to have a bag full that you're not going to use. They can't really take them out now. You know, it's just a thing we're going to have to get used to and go on with, and they're going to try and tweak it so it's better. In fact, somebody came up to me in the bar and said he'd just spoken to Mike Morhaime. I didn't get a chance to meet him, unfortunately. He wasn't in our bar. But he said that they're going to tweak the power of them to make them more desirable. So that's fine. I mean, it's in the game. It's probably the biggest mistake of Legion, and there ain't much they can do about it either. They can't roll it back. We also found out we're going to space. Which was just fucking bananas. We're going to fucking space. We're off to Argus to finally kill these motherfuckers instead of keep killing them here and sending them back. Even as a non-lawhead, I get, because I needed to ask the question is, why do I keep fighting Archimond?
Yeah.
Why kill Jaden Bros back? You know what I mean? Kill Jaden Bros back. So yeah, I do understand that they don't die; they actually go back, and we're actually going to follow them through. Which led to the weirdest... We walked into the Q&A while the question was being asked, like, if we're in Argus, how do Blood Elf Paladins draw power from the Sunwell or something like that? It was a really odd question to say this, but yeah, we're going to go back to Argus. They just kept dropping these fucking bombs, one after the other. The hype in that room was palpable. Absolutely
it was really good.
Fucking palpable.
Just the energy of everyone.
Just
like,
to be sat there where everyone
place.
was like, fuck yeah, man, this is fucking awesome. Was there any other big things we want to talk about? The artifacts obviously confirmed they're not going to carry on into the next expansion, which we knew anyway. They did say that before Legion, but they finally confirmed that you'll get them as skins, which I thought was already confirmed, honestly. I've told people that. But people are going to say, we're asking, will we keep the skins? I was like, well, of course you do, because you put effort into getting them. They don't take things away, generally, that you've gotten through completing something. Especially considering he kept saying the word pain for grinding them. You're going to get the pain for it. They're going to buff various stuff. He then went on to say we're going to get another, not Tanaan jungle, and I called this before he said it, Isle Keldanas, where we now get to choose how to upgrade it and stuff. So we're going to get access to the Broken Isles.
Yep.
And we're going to go down there, and it's going to be something that we can choose as a server. What it looked like to me is an individual player gets to choose where his support goes.
Okay.
So what I would imagine, so there's like 3 choices on the screen that you'll get to choose what do you want to focus your efforts on bringing up. And then hopefully people are going to try and organise a server-wide effort so everybody chooses the same one.
Yeah.
So that goes faster. And then we all focus on the individual buildings instead of everybody spreading it thin. So it will be like the Isle of Keldanas where we upgrade our structure there. So I'm really hoping it's more Throne of Thunder style or Isle of Thunder, Isle of Keldanas style, because they were a ton of fun.
Yes,
it was always
definitely.
nice to get the unlocks and not Tanaan fucking jungle, which is just like a big fucking splooge of shit all over the land. Looking forward to seeing it. The next big thing I wanted to talk about was they have set a date for when they're going to give access via the LFD system to the dungeons that are currently locked off. And it's 7.2, so they're going to split Karazhan into 2 and have that as heroic, and then you're going to be able to do Mythic Plus in there as well. And they're going to allow, the Arcane Court of Stars done heroic. And I thought, great, if you're so against the Mythic system, and queuing, and and trying to find groups and trying to find guilds, they have come up with this point where it's like, if you're not going to do it, fine. You've had more than enough chance to try it. You've had more than enough chance to see it. So now you can access this stuff via heroic and check it out. And we hold no grudges there. We gave you plenty of time to get into it, but if you're so against it, that's cool. We don't want to deny you content. Here you go. And I was more than happy to see that. And plus we got to do some Mythic plus Karazhan as well, which I'm more than happy with. Oh, yeah. I love that place. So
I'm still to do that place.
Eh?
I'm still to do it, mate.
You not finished it yet?
I didn't get a chance, did I?
Oh, because we went away.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. So I think that's great. They're just saying, right, we've given you loads of time to try out this new system. Some of you are obviously dead against it. Some of you don't want to play with other people and make friends and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So now we're going to give you the option to go in through the LFD system. You can queue for it. And for the rest of you, you get Mythic Plus as well to go along with that and do, which they know Karazhan is a fucking major success.
Yeah.
They are fully aware of that. So I like that they're doing what we suggested years ago with LFR, is why does LFR have to be released at the same time as it comes out? Where's the incentive for some people to try and get into normal, to try and get into heroic, into raids, if they can access LFR so quickly and see it? Right. They seem to be taking that stance now with the dungeons and saying, right, we've given you a few months where it's off limits, or you have to do something extra to get in there. But if you just want to visually see it, essentially, now you can. And we're going to give that big delay.
Yeah.
But there was an incentive for a long time to join Mythics and do other things. And I think that's really cool. I think that is a great period of time where you should be able to get into that system. And if you don't want to, or you've not been able to find your way, there you go. You can still go and access that content. So, yeah, I was smiling about all of that as well. absolutely smiling. They did mention the possibility of maybe crafted legendary items. Perhaps there's a way of doing that. Again, that might tie back into we're getting new legendaries that are coming in. Artifact weapons then. This was a big sort of...
This was up and down.
This was up and down. For me personally, it was mixed. Obviously, I went... I said when we did the preview video, is what I was hoping to hear was the removal of the 4th golden trait. I brought it up to Celestial and he kind of went... They seem to be quite happy with it. Over time, it won't matter, as obviously we've already discussed. But they're going to add in more stuff. So a new golden trait, and also upping the ranks of a lot of the individual traits. So it was a mixed bag. One, it's kind of cool, I guess, that we're going to get a 4th golden trait that isn't like just a stackable crappy one, but an actual interesting one that we can work towards. Upping the ranks of the other ones, it just feels like an overall buff to classes.
Exactly, it's a nerf of the game. It's the same effect as your 4th golden trait for me. It just feels like it's just... makes the entire game easier. That's all it is. It's a reduction of difficulty, but it shouldn't be, considering the amount of time you've put into that character. It's not that you need that game nerf.
I think there's two things going on, because they can counter the idea of it being a game nerf by just buffing the content, which they're going to do. They're going to make Mythix harder.
Right.
They're going to move everything up so that content stays. So when these heroic coat of stars and stuff come out, they're also upping the difficulty across the board. I think they tried to say like a Mythic 7 will now be what's a Mythic 3.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they're upping the difficulty of all the content to keep the gear relevant and to keep the interest relevant as we get more and more powerful. So the game's already fighting back. They're like passive. In one hand, with the artifact weapons, they're making you more powerful, but on the other hand, they're simultaneously making the content harder. So it kind of balances out. I think the main thing here is they know that around. I think someone's calculated it. Is it around about January or December we'll have capped artifact knowledge?
Right.
And at that point, you'll be getting ludicrous amounts of artifact knowledge, artifact power, to the point where you won't need any pretty quickly.
So, bearing in mind, though, you still are reliant on artifact power, it's still making it less alt-friendly, is it not?
They said they're going to do something where they're going to reduce artifact knowledge gain for alts down to like a day, or even a few hours.
Right.
So make people catch up. But I think they're a little bit worried that round about December, January, there's going to be a point where lots of players like myself and you, whose artifact knowledge has been literally ticking since we hit level 110, are going to quickly hit a point where we don't need any more at all because we've filled everything out. So by increasing the traits, so you're definitely going to start seeing traits that are valued at like 10 million. You know what I mean? It's absolutely ludicrous numbers, maybe even like 50 million to get a trait. But just so they can continue throughout the expansion, making artifact power relevant to you.
I get that, but is that... I mean, for me... I mean, I'm only speaking for me, and I'm probably in the minority, but I don't think that I'd be that fussed if my weapon got capped.
Me either. I'm with you, but at the same... I think... Imagine how much content dries up at that point. Would you do your daily heroic? No. Would you do world quests? Probably not. If you...
What I'd be more...
doing it for legendaries.
Yeah, but what I'd be more incentivized to do is to gear up my alt specs or to gear up my alts themselves.
I think that's something they're trying to keep away from.
Because, I mean, even if, like, now, where we're comfortably still getting our artifact power, we're quite a high level, every time that even if I log on my alt to do the, I'll stack the 3 world quests, I'm still thinking I could be doing something on my main with this time.
But that's what they're worried about. That I think they've looked at it and figured out that about this time, that's going to stop. Okay. And then what you're going to be left to do. And it renders anything that rewards just that. You think about Mythic Plus, even at the high end, the chance of getting an item, certainly a worthwhile one, is really low.
Yeah.
What you do actually want is the cash for the end of the week, and also it's still a reasonable source of AP for plenty of people.
Yeah.
So that's going to dry up. World quests, nobody really needs garrison resources at the moment. That's probably going to change with the next patch. They never mentioned it specifically, I don't think. But if AP dries up, gold's obviously useless from the world quests, and garrison resources aren't really needed, then you're basically... There's a lot of content there that quickly dries up once you reach a point where your artifact's pretty much capped. Or you're gaining that 4th golden trait that's already in-game, which will be like 0.5% damage or something like that. So I think they're aware of that, and they're just like, okay, we're going to have to increase the artifacts. And plus they want to put new skills in the game. They can't put new talents into the game, so they're going to just add more stuff to your artifact weapon.
Right.
So I'm interested. I was okay with it. I was really okay with it. but still does turn me away from how long am I going to be spending in fire if I don't actually have a cut-off point.
That's it.
And so far, right now, we don't have a cut-off point. So it doesn't look like they're going to do that. I think in the office, it's the kind of like, we can't really have a cut-off point because that'll dry up a lot of content. Whereas I'm with you. I'm okay with having a capped weapon.
Yeah.
I'm fine with having a capped weapon that's like, my weapon is done, it's dusted, or I have the choice to leave it behind. But either way, that's the way it's going. I get why they're doing it. I'm personally not into it, but we're not 100% of the player base, I suppose. There's still, I mean, people were telling me at BlizzCon that they're still at like level 20, on their weapon.
Right.
Whereas we're at like 30, 31. We're like so far ahead because we've obviously got a little bit more time to play and stuff like that compared to other people.
Yeah.
That everyone's still at these massively varied amounts. So I was expecting most people to probably about 25 plus. But it turned out from everyone I spoke to, they were at like 20, 19, stuff like that. That's where like more of the average player base is, seemingly. So that's why they're doing that, I think. But that was literally the only thing where we went. Ugh. But everything else, the updating of color schemes and stuff like that was great. Like updating the arena, it's like gameplay remains unchanged. We haven't changed any of the models. We just reskinned it so it looks more updated.
Dude,
cool.
Brawlers Guild.
Brawlers Guild's coming back. Dozens of bosses. Is it canon? No.
That's what I was just going to say. Like the next thing says, look, this isn't canon. It's designed for fun. And then it showed us what's in the new revamped Brawlers Guild. Mm-hmm. Like he even RP'd it. It shut its doors for a bit while it's had a bit of renovation. Then they had a cutscene of it actually being renovated. And then it showed the different mechanics of the bosses, like the Pac-Man boss that you picked up on and stuff like that.
The Pac-Man boss
yeah,
was well good.
Yeah, it looks so much fun.
It's scary how many people didn't recognise it though.
What, the Pac-Man thing?
That it was Pac-Man. I mean, I know Pac-Man's what, 70s? Something like that?
I know, but that's even before
fuck
our
me,
time.
man. I know Pac-Man. Everyone should know Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking crazy that they didn't know Pac-Man. But yeah, some people were like, Pac-Man, what's that? I was like, fucking really, dude? It's totally Pac-Man. Which is cool. So those are the big things besides all the stuff. The big takeaway I got from it, like if I wanted to conclude on anything, is one, is this big return to let's just make wacky, silly fun. What might be fun, might not be. We don't know, and frankly, it's not up to us to decide.
Exactly.
They might have even had the conversation is how many times have we thrown something around this table and us as devs have said people won't like that? Maybe they would have, and we don't know. We don't know what the sleeper hit is going to be.
Yeah, I got that kind of general gist.
Yeah, let's make it fun, let's make it silly. Not necessarily in the Broken Isles, like Boat Day, they said was down 1,000 Needles, Guard Day was in Orgrimmar. So we've got all this open world area where nobody goes anymore. Let's just throw this fun shit down there, get people down there, get them doing silly things.
So it's not in your face, but if you do want to try it,
yeah, there. Exactly. And it's not gonna you can't really have, I get why they can't have Boat Day in Azuna, right? Do you know what I mean? The place is fucked. You can't have Boat Day there. I did like that he said Val Shirai was quite a cheery place. I was like, really? It's covered in something called the Nightmare. It's called the Nightmare, dude. That's not the cheeriest of places I could think of anyway. And then of course we saw the Tomb of Sargeras and what's going to be in there, and they're keeping that kind of. They showed us some photos and some.
They're still playing it quite close to the chest.
It's so far away. That's the crazy thing. It's so far away. We've got the Nighthold before that. Pretty crazy. I thought you would have been happy to know that Kane Sunfury was the choice for 73% of Demon Hunters, though.
Mate. All those mornings that we come in and I'll start his quest. And you insult me because I say the Illidari cannot be stopped. 70 what percent?
73%.
Suck it.
Yeah, 73%.
How do you know that? Did he say it?
Yeah, they gave out those statistics.
Men.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was pretty cool as
MVP,
well.
mate.
But yeah, it was interesting that the Q&A. I read through the Q&A notes and compared it to what we saw. We did leave about halfway through, maybe 3/4 of the way through, because it was pretty clear they weren't going to answer anything specific. But I did want to bring up with you then while you're here is that the new armor sets will be based heavily on tier 6. Does that mean a reskin, or does that mean slightly remodeled?
I don't think it's going to be reskinned. I think they're, because like tier 6 is Black Temple, obviously, and it had some of the best skins in game. Obviously that's subjective, but for me,
4 of my characters use
one
tier
was
6.
a priest, right?
My
one
priest
the warrior
uses tier 6, my warrior uses tier 6, my mage uses tier 6, my hunter uses tier 6.
There you go. Some really good skins in there.
I fucking love tier 6 things.
I can't wait. I really can't wait for it.
My warrior doesn't actually. He uses the Dreadnought, the cheap one. I can't be asked buying the other one. I tried for months to buy it and I just couldn't be fucking bothered.
Cheapskate.
I'm so lazy. Oh no, I had the gold. I haven't got it anymore. Fucking Legion, but yeah. I was flying there every day to check it and I just couldn't be fucking asked. I gave right up. So I think that's the main points. It was interesting. Yeah, I'd be a little bit wary. We'll talk more about our bants and stuff because we had a lot of bants and some good stories to tell.
We
at
did.
The web show, which is this Saturday if you're watching this on the day of release or during the week. So other than that, anything else you want to add there, pal? I think we summarised everything. I just want to just say that the fucking hype in that room was something I've never felt. Not just at a BlizzCon, but at a gaming event.
I know. But I think the content matched the hype this year.
It just kept going over. We said, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? Wouldn't it be cool if we
Yeah.
could do this? Shit, I nearly fucking forgot. What? They're bringing back abilities that they pruned. And admitted on stage, he said, yeah, we fucked up. I was like, baller, you did fuck up. Traps are coming back for hunters.
Yes.
Smoke, was it smoke bomb? Oh, the stealth, AoE concealment's coming back. I was like, please give leap of faith to all the pre-specs.
Yep.
Because it's so useful
Makes
and
sense.
it's not a fucking pain in the ass. Bring
Makes
it
sense.
fucking back. Can't wait to see what comes back for everyone else. Will we get altered time back for my mage? Don't know, dude. Don't know. But they're bringing stuff back. And just to say there and say, we fucked up. We took too much away. We agree with that. A lot of the flavor's gone. In the pursuit of the theme, we took away a lot of flavour. So we're going to bring that flavour back.
Do you know what? It's obviously in my head running wild, but to some extent, with what we said then, there was no reason for pruning those abilities. Mm-hmm. A lot of the abilities you could put together as sort of a toolkit for another class, and that in my head was that.
Oh, like
for a future class. Not obviously not going to be revealed at this BlizzCon.
Yeah.
But all these things could be utilised in a certain way for a different class.
Yeah, exactly. We took something away. Well, they did that a lot in Legion. They took something away and put it back as a talent, as we saw huge amounts of that going on. But to say, yeah, we fucked up, we took too much away. Because it really bugged me, especially during raiding. Because we were like, has anybody got a decent AoE slow? And a lot of it was melee based and stuff, or I'd have to spec into a talent, which is fucking garbage. And it's like, back in the day, we would just say, yeah, of course a hunter would be firing a trap over there, and getting that shit ready. And he's like, well, I don't have traps anymore. It's like, yeah. All that kind of shit just fucking sucks. Or when I'm on my priest and I'm not playing the right spec and I don't have leap of faith or anything like that, I'm like, you know what? There's so many tiny great uses of this that make players stand out, and I'm all for that. And it's just shit like that. I'm not saying they did not say that leap of faith is coming back for all the specs, by the way. It was just one of the things that came to mind. Is like, please bring that back, which is fucking cool. And just to stand there and say, yeah, we fucked up. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna bring some stuff back. Wouldn't it be cool if we had this? He kept saying it, didn't he? Wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? The class mounts have different colors depending on your spec. Maybe have different models. So I was like, dude. That was one of the. It was great, and I can just tell you that all weekend people was just like, yesterday was fucking.
They were really
awesome.
happy.
Today was fucking awesome. It was so cool. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. You did well not coughing. I think you coughed a little bit.
I coughed a few times, mate, but I took a full lean back, so it wasn't in the mind.
Compared to what you've been doing all day, that's not too bad. All right, guys, we'll see you again.
Take it easy.
Bye, boys.
Peace.